This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Everywhere you turn, it's the same old sports talk, the same headlines, the same news, and the same boring information. This podcast is here to change all of that. We bring you hot sports takes, winning sports betting strategy and picks, reliable gaming industry news, and breaking interviews with some of the biggest names in sports business. My name is Ryan Knup, and welcome to the Knup Sports Show. Hey, welcome to the KnupSports.com podcast, episode number 2. Thank you, everybody, for listening. My name is Ryan. I'm your host today. I'm joined along here by my brother, Rodney. Rodney, you with us?
Yeah, what's going on tonight?
Not much. Not much at all. We're just getting ready to talk a little football here on episode number 2. We made it to episode number 2.
Yeah, no, I guess that's the surprising thing. I think Vegas had us at 1.5, so I think we're over. We're good job. We got the 2 podcasts. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And thank you guys all for listening. We appreciate all the feedback we got last week from the show. So thank you for listening and tuning in again this week. We're definitely going to keep it shorter this week. So hopefully you can keep your attention with us for 20, 30 minutes. And we'll go through a handful of college games today. And then we'll go through another set of pro games that are happening on Thursday and Sunday. And then we'll try to give some quick picks for every NFL game after that. So first of all, before we get started, anything from last week that you want to touch on or that you really took note of and kind of stood out from last week's action?
Well, college football was quite a bit like we predicted. I mean, we had a pretty good week of college football. NFL is just so unpredictable, period. I mean, so many road teams came away with wins, and I think, the one thing that I thought in week 1 is, home teams would be the ones that would prevail. Road teams won, and one thing I did want to note is the Rams are still the Rams.
Yeah, they really laid an egg for me. I was excited about that pick. I played Gurley. I played their defense in daily fantasy, and none of it worked out. It just was a disaster of a Monday night finale. So
yeah, I needed 7 points from Tavon Austin, and he couldn't even come away with 6. So yeah, it didn't work out for me.
Yep. Well, but that's why we have week 2 moving on to the next week. So. Okay, speaking of, let's start with some college. Let's talk college first today. So we're going to start with Thursday night. We jump right into week 3 with a pretty good Thursday night game. We got Houston at Cincinnati, with Cincinnati's a 7-point underdog at home. What do you think? Actually, they're 7.5 now. Anything? I know the nation's liking Houston. Houston's kind of everybody's darling this year. What do you think?
Boy, I seem to like Cincinnati in this game, and I'm wondering if this game won't go to 8 or 8.5 by the time the kickoff on Thursday night. Cincinnati's pretty good. I mean, I know they haven't really been tested. They got wins over Tennessee, Monroe, and Purdue, which, both those teams aren't very good. Purdue's really actually pretty terrible. But, Cincinnati's a team that can play defense. If you play defense against Houston, you're going to put yourself in a chance because, Houston wants to score a bunch of points. That 8 points seems like a lot, especially in a rivalry game. It's a home game for Cincinnati. So I'm leaning towards taking Cincinnati and those points. I mean, Cincinnati, again, not a bad team, 8-2 in their last 10 against the spread. So I don't mind Cincinnati in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the underdog here, too, and I hope I can get it up at 8. That would be good. The total in this one's monstrous at 64.5. I guess a lot of those college games are pretty high totals, but this one stands out as being pretty high as well.
Yeah, well, Greg Ward, obviously, if he plays in this game, the quarterback, and he should. I mean, it was just temporary that they sent him out last weekend. But, Houston scored 33 against Oklahoma, scored 42 against Lamar, so they're going to put up points. I guess it's just a matter of can Cincinnati limit those points. If Houston gets into 40s, Cincinnati's in trouble. But I think a 33-30 type game, Cincinnati might be able to win this game. So I'm taking the Bearcats and +8 in this one.
Me as well. So that's your Thursday night action. And then Friday night there is a game or two. There's a handful of them. We aren't going to touch on any of those. I think Baylor plays at Rice. That's kind of the feature ESPN game. We're not going to get into that one for the sake of time. So we're going to jump straight into the Saturday action. And you know what? We have, last week I didn't think there was a lot of great matchups. This week there is. There's a lot of good games again. A lot of good, rivalry type games on the schedule. I'm looking forward to this week.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, one game that I don't even know if we're going to touch on, but keep in mind, Miami goes to Appalachian State. That's going to be interesting because we saw Appalachian State compete really well against Tennessee 2 weeks ago. But look out for that game because that's a little underrated. We're going to talk about 5 games that I really like, but this game's a fun one as well. Miami at Appalachian State.
Yeah, Appalachian State, and they still are getting no respect across the nation. But you know what? They're only 3.5-point dogs in that game. I mean, you look at Miami and you think, oh, Miami's going to wax them, but the odds makers are picking Appalachian State to be close. 73% of the world's on Miami. Like I've said, Appalachian State is getting no respect across the nation, but they are a good football team, and I would expect them to put up a fight in that one. That's an early game on Saturday, so I would expect them to put up a fight.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've always, every year, put up a fight. Now, they're just coming off a win against Old Dominion, not a very good team. Marcus Cox ran for 133 yards and 3 first-half touchdowns. I mean, that's something Miami's going to have to defend. If I'm going anywhere with this game, I still think I'm taking Miami. But you're right, this could be a fun game, and it's one of the ones I'm looking forward to early on Saturday.
For sure. Another early game that is getting a lot of attention. We stay with a Florida team, but we got number 2 Florida State at number 10 Louisville. Louisville's 2-point dogs at home in this one. Both teams in the top 10. Should be a great game. My gut is leaning Florida State to take care of them, but it's a road game for them. So what do you think in that one?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm leaning towards Louisville in this game. I mean, keep in mind, I wasn't real high on Louisville week 1. They scored 70 points. I wasn't real high on Louisville week 2. They scored 62 points. So they're scoring 66 points a game. And Lamar Jackson is the front runner for Heisman right now. I mean, the guy's got 7 passing touchdowns, 6 rushing touchdowns. I mean, Louisville's one of the best offensive teams in the country. Now, Florida State's going to defend them a little bit. But, it's going to be a really rowdy crowd there in Louisville. 65 points for the over-under, 2-point underdog. I seem to like Louisville. This is one where half of the country likes Florida State, half the country likes Louisville. I seem to like Louisville, so I think we're going to be betting against each other on this game.
Yeah, we might as well keep the books out of this one, and we'll just we'll go against each other because I do like Florida State a good bit in this one. We'll see if it makes my playlist or not. I mean, it probably will just because it's a feature game and fun to watch, but I don't know. We'll see if it makes my playlist, but I do like the Seminoles. So
yeah, I mean it's going to be tough either way, but I think Lamar Jackson and the way he started the season is the X factor for me.
Yep, nothing wrong with that. So we'll move on to the mid-afternoon games, and we got number 1 Alabama at Ole Miss, number 19 Ole Miss. Alabama double-digit favorites on the road at Ole Miss. I mean, this game, it's a conference game. They always seem to have some tight games in this one. What do you think? Can Ole Miss? I think they pulled an upset last year at Alabama, if I am not mistaken. Can they fight with Alabama in this game?
You would think so. I mean, you would think they would, but man, it's hard. It's hard to bet against Alabama. It is so hard to bet against Alabama because every time you do, they just stop. Whatever they do, wipe the floor. Whatever they do, Alabama's 6-1 against the spread in their last 7. I mean, you look at all the trends. Alabama's really good with those trends. So, boy, I probably will take the points and say, hey, let's try to keep this close. But the second I do that, that's when Alabama gets a pick 6 and wins this game by 14. So, I'm leaning towards Ole Miss. But, boy, this is going to be a tough one to predict. But, I think what you said with that last game, it's going to be hard not to bet on because it is the primetime CBS game at, 2:30 Central Time. So I'm probably leaning Ole Miss plus 11. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that goes to plus 12 by the time Saturday afternoon gets here. I'm leaning Ole Miss.
Yep, I'm with you on that one. I do hate betting against Alabama, just like you. But I think those points are too juicy to not take, especially at Ole Miss. I like the home team and the points in that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we move on to the next game, and we got Michigan State at Notre Dame. One of those rivalry games that is always a fun one every year, and it's the Saturday night NBC game. Number 12 versus number 18. Notre Dame comes in as 8-point favorites. And it's at Notre Dame, so that place is going to be rocking and rolling in this rivalry game. Notre Dame should have pretty good momentum in this game, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, and Michigan State's had a week off actually, so they're gonna be well rested. They're gonna be well prepared for this game. It's hard to imagine Michigan State 12th ranked team in the country and over a underdog, over a touchdown underdog in this game. Yeah, I mean, all the factors you talk about Notre Dame, the crowd's going to be raucous. They need the win to keep in line for a national title chance. I mean, they can't lose the second game. But I seem to like Michigan State. I mean, those 8 points are a lot in a rivalry game like this. Mark D'Antonio has always been a good coach, especially in this type of situation. I seem to like Michigan State. A lot of the numbers point towards Michigan State. I like Michigan State to cover +8 or 7.5, whatever you get it at.
Yeah, I agree. Those points again, they're always so enticing. Looking at those points in those big games like that. Notre Dame at home, though, they're gonna have a lot of they're gonna put a lot of points up, I think. And Michigan State's D is solid, but I think Notre Dame's gonna score. I don't know, man. I'm really tossed up on this one. I may stay away big time from this game because I really, haven't got my mind wrapped around it. The public seems to really like Michigan State and the points. The 69-70% of the world is on Michigan State in this one. I don't know. I think I'm staying away. I think I'm gonna lean towards our next game here and really take this one. So if that wasn't enough for you on Saturday night, we have Ohio State at Oklahoma, which is another feature game, number 3 versus number 14. I think it's been one of those games that people have been looking forward to all year, and I've had actually several people ask me what I think about this game all week already. And so I think that's going to be the game to watch. I'm excited about it. I'm going to get your thoughts on it before I give mine. What do you think on Buckeyes versus Sooners?
Well, I think I read a stat where Ohio State's won their last 16 road games. It actually leads the country, in the amount of road games in a row they've won. But I do think that streak gets snapped. And I don't know if it's because I am a lot higher on Oklahoma than other people are. I really thought Oklahoma was going to take care of Houston in week 1. I think Baker Mayfield, the tremendous quarterback, Joe Mixon's had a pretty solid start to the season at running back. I seem to like Oklahoma in this game. I think, they've got that factor that they simply can't lose. It's kind of like Notre Dame. If you lose this game, you are already out of a national title chance. I seem to like Oklahoma at home in this game. What did it start at, 2.5? It's down to a pick 'em now, so I think a lot of money's coming in towards the Oklahoma Sooners in this one.
Yeah, and that's kind of half the reason I like Oklahoma as well. You say a lot of money's coming in on Oklahoma, but the public is actually on Ohio State, and that line's moving towards Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma has their backs up against the wall, like you said. I think Baker Mayfield has some experience. They're going to have the home field. Ohio State is a tough out, but you get Oklahoma at a pick 'em at home. I'm taking that all day long. So I like Oklahoma on that one. And that's probably the game I'll bet at night, not the previous Michigan State Notre Dame game. But I know a fair bunch of people that have good cases for Ohio State as well. So I think this is going to be a heck of a football game.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you play in Norman, Oklahoma, though, that's going to be difficult. A night game, a top 5 team coming in. Bob Stoops has lost a lot of big games like this. He's also won a lot of big games like this. I just look for Oklahoma to be well prepared and find a way to win. And in saying that, Urban Meyer, one of the best coaches in all of college football, but I'm leaning the home team in this one, and that's really my main reason why home team comes away with the win.
I'm with you on that. So I know there's a ton of other college games on Saturday, and you can pick and choose, and we're going to lay out tons of picks out on social media. So knupsports.com, KNUP sports.com. You can find us on Twitter. We do a ton of picks on Twitter. Our whole team does stuff out on Facebook. So definitely, I think you've been doing some live video out on Periscope. So I encourage you guys to follow some Periscope and some Facebook Live that we've been doing. We'll bring you a lot more picks, and again, we're just giving you our thoughts and hopefully giving you a little advice and some guidance as you go about your day, because there's a ton of games and there's a ton of stuff going on, but for sake of time, we're only going to talk about 5 here today. So head out to our social media, see what we have going on in the college space throughout the weekend. All right, let's shift gears and let's head to the NFL. We're going to talk about 5 games in the NFL, and then we're going to give our picks for every single game at the end of this segment before we wrap up. So let's start on Thursday night. We got the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Should be a pretty dang good game. Pretty competitive game, I guess I'll say. I don't know if I'll say good game. I'll say competitive game. What do you think in this one to start off our week 2 of the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, NFL's always put some of these, outside of week 1, their Thursday night games are always just kind of blah, and this is another just kind of blah game. I mean, both teams were pretty uninspired in week 1. I mean, Buffalo, one of the worst offensive teams last week. I mean, I don't know if they had any clue what they were doing offensively. Sammy Watkins likely out now. I mean, if I'm going anywhere with this game, I'm going the Jets. I just think the Jets are a better team. Should have won week 1. They lost to Cincinnati. There's not a lot of shame in losing to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to be good, like most people predicted. Matt Forte had a big week 1. I look for him to have a big week 2, and I guess I'm taking the road team here. I mean, that seemed to be the trend for week 1 is take the road team, but right at a pickle or wherever you want to get it at, I seem to like the Jets in this game.
Oh, yeah. The Bills burnt me last week. I liked the Bills, and I was higher on the Bills than I think some are this year. So I'm trying to convince myself that they're better than they looked last week. This line went from, it started, Buffalo was favored by 3 to start. Now they're 1-point underdogs, so it's moved 4 points over the course of the week. So people like the Jets. Odds makers aren't disagreeing with them. They're moving it towards the Jets. Oh, gosh, but I don't know why. I think Rex Ryan, he has that Jets connection. He may have a little inside knowledge there of the Jets. Man, I don't know. I'm leaning Bills, but I think I got burnt last week by him, and I'll probably get burnt twice in a row.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with Sammy Watkins being out. If he's out, who do the Bills have offensively that scares you? This could be a 17-14 game, and it could go either way. There's no doubt there, but I think Sammy Watkins out is a big plus for the Jets, and that's probably why I'm leaning towards the Jets.
Yeah, I think you want to keep an eye on that though, because the last thing I read did not have him out. It had him as maybe playing. So. Just keep an eye on that as we get closer to that game tomorrow night, or Thursday. As you're listening to this, it'll be tonight. So keep an eye on that. If he isn't playing, I do agree with you. I think that's a big blow. But if he does play, I think they maybe will keep it close. I don't know. The under may be the play here. Like you said, it's going to be a grind-out defensive game, so it may be the play, although it's down to 40.
Yeah. The Bills have actually done fairly well against the Jets against the spread, really over in their last 4 games they've beat the spread. The under's been a big play. So, I could go either way here, but you're right. I think if I'm playing anything, I'm probably playing the under, despite how many 40 points. I still think it could be a 24-14 game or 21-17 and still get under that under.
Yep, I'm with you. So we'll move on from Thursday. We'll move on to Sunday afternoon. Plenty of good games Sunday afternoon, but we're going to touch on just one here. So we got maybe a couple. We got the New Orleans Saints at the New York Giants. That should be a pretty high-scoring game. Remember that game last year? I think it scored like 90 points or something ridiculous.
Yeah, well, the first thing I did when DraftKings and FanDuel came out with their week 2 is I went ahead and put a lineup with all Giants and all Saints in there, and it worked. You can actually do it. You can actually play Eli Manning, Odell Beckham Jr., throw a few Saints in there, Brandon Cooks, and have this work. And it might not be a bad idea, but, obviously those never really fully work. But 52.5 points is the total. As far as the game, I like the Giants because I don't think the Saints could guard anybody. I just don't think they can play enough defense. Now, 4.5 points could be a little bit of a surprise. I don't think it'll be as close. I like the Giants to win this game by a touchdown, 35-24, 35-27, something like that. I like the Giants with a bunch of points in this game.
Hey, we're on the same page. I like the Giants as well. I like what they have going on in New York. I really do. I think their defense is solid this year. With Cruz back healthy, Beckham, those receivers are as good as any 2 receivers in the league. I'm okay with Jennings and Vereen behind, running the ball for them. Of course, Manning has, all the experience in the world. I like what they have going on in New York this year. I really do. If their defense can hold up at all, we'll see about that. I'm not sold on the Saints at all. I'm just not sold on it. They had a big week last week, yeah, but I don't know. I'm not sold on what they have going on. So I'm taking the Giants as well. I may take them on the money line. I may just bet them to win the game just so I don't get hit with a backdoor touchdown to make it a 3-point game. So I may take them just to win the game, period, in that game. And I think I'd lean towards I won't say it. I was going to say I'd lean towards the under. But 53 is a ton of points. But yeah, those teams, they could just get going and go crazy too. So I'm just staying away from that total.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the under, but I mean, you just think about it. If you say that, and then you're like, okay, I could realistically see a 28-27 game, and that's the over. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm going anywhere, I'm going the over here, and I'm definitely going Giants. Saints are just bad on the road. They're bad on the road. This is not New Orleans. They did not win in New Orleans. You're right. I don't think the Saints are very good. I'm taking the Giants here.
I agree. All right, let's move on to an afternoon game. So a later afternoon, we got the Colts at the Broncos. So the Colts, Andrew Luck coming into the Broncos. Denver is 6-point favorites at home in this one. Who do you like?
Oh, I like the Colts to play well, but I think the Broncos are probably going to win this game. At 6 points is a lot, though. It's a tough game for me, really, to predict because I was so burnt on Indianapolis last week, and they lost to Detroit. Detroit of all teams. Anyways, if I'm going anywhere, I'm probably taking the Broncos, but I just don't know if Denver's going to score enough in this game. I mean, it's going to be Denver's going to slow down Indianapolis. I mean, Andrew Luck's likely not going to throw for 4 touchdowns like he did last week. I'm probably taking the Broncos, but I just don't know if they can score enough. So I'm really probably going to stay away from this game because I don't have a good grasp on it.
Yeah, I see the line movement. I always like to look at that. 55% on Indy, yet it's moving towards Denver. I hope that it moves back down to 5.5, and I can take Denver. I like them at home in this game. I think their defense is going to just absolutely shut down the Colts. Probably going to make them look silly. We've seen the Colts sometimes just absolutely look awful when they play against good defenses. So I like Denver to win this pretty big. I'm probably going to be taking the Broncos on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame you to taking the defending champs who, came away with a win in week 1. But again, I just asked myself, it's still Trevor Siemian. I'm just not sure how they'll score that many points to win by nearly a touchdown. That's my only reason I would say Indianapolis would have a chance. It's still Trevor Siemian after all.
True. Yeah, but they got way more than that. They got their defense, their running attack. They do have 2 just ridiculous receivers with him. I hear what you're saying. I don't think the Colts, their running game is non-existent. And I think Luck is really going to be stifled or stymied. Is that the word I want to use at Denver?
Well, yeah, I mean, if Andrew Luck turns the football over, yeah, Denver's probably going to win big. If Andrew Luck can somehow, at least, make his own team punt instead of turning it over, I think Indianapolis could cover it. That's a big F. So, interesting game. Hopefully by Sunday I'll have a better grasp. But right now I'm kind of up in the air on this game.
All right, our Sunday night game, pretty good game. We got the Packers at the Vikings. So Green Bay comes in as 2.5-point favorites on the road. This is a big game for the division. I mean, these two are kind of battling up near the top of this division, both kind of expected to win it. I don't know what to think. The Vikings, they had one big play last week that kind of turned their game around. The big defensive play. They just looked awful in that first half against Tennessee. Then they had a big play, kind of turned it around for them, and they ended up winning that game. Packers do what the Packers do. I mean, they won. It wasn't real pretty, but it never really felt like they were going to lose that game against Jacksonville last week. So, what do you think in this one to start off our Sunday night?
Well, I think I got to like the Packers. I mean, 2 points isn't very many. It is in Minnesota. It's their new stadium. There's a lot of momentum for the Vikings. But, and I was wrong a lot last week in the NFL. But, again, I go back to Sean Hill at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. And, I know Adrian Peterson's there. I don't think Adrian Peterson had a tremendous week one. Minnesota scored 2 touchdowns on defensively. I don't think the Packers are going to do that. Aaron Rodgers doesn't typically throw a pick six. Maybe Eddie Lacy fumble return, but I think I like Green Bay to win this game. Their offense, that throw last week was the best play of the week for me when Aaron Rodgers didn't have his arm, still threw a touchdown to Devontae Adams. I like the Packers to win this game.
Yeah, me too, and so does the world. This is the biggest percentage we see on a team of the weekend. 77% like the Packers, so everybody's liking that on Sunday Night Football. But I do too, for the same reasons you said. I think Green Bay's more experienced. Minnesota's struggling at quarterback. Their defense is going to have to come up really big to stay in this game, and I don't think I want to put my bet on a team that I'm hoping their defense, makes a miracle play. Adrian Peterson looked awful last week, just absolutely awful. I don't know if he can get going or not at all. He may be washed up and over the hill. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in Tennessee's not even that good at defensively. I mean, what teams are going to do is they're going to make Sean Hill beat you. And last week Tennessee beat themselves by turning it over too many times and allowing Minnesota. You cannot allow Minnesota to score touchdowns defensively. Green Bay probably won't do that. I like the Packers. With a lot of confidence, I think I like the Packers here.
There you go. Okay, let's move to Monday Night Football, and let's talk Monday Night Football. You know what? If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that the Chicago Bears were going to be favored on Monday Night Football, I would have laughed at you, but they are. Philadelphia at Chicago, and the Bears are 3-point favorites in this game. How things change when some quarterbacks get hurt. What do you think here? Should the Bears be favored in this?
Well, Carson Wentz was pretty good last week. I mean, for a rookie, and I spent a lot of time talking about quarterbacks and inexperienced quarterbacks, but Carson Wentz was really good. He threw to Jordan Matthews, Ryan Matthews was good. I don't really think the Bears should be favored. I don't think they're any good at all. I mean, I don't know why. What makes? I mean, if I look at the Chicago Bears, what do they do well? And I don't know if there's anything. I mean, I don't like the Bears at all. I think the Eagles, unfortunately this game's in Chicago, which, Monday night, it could get a little bit chilly, all those things. I seem to like the Eagles, though. For some reason, I like the Eagles. Now, you say the beginning of the year is surprised that the Bears would be favored in any games. I'm going to say I'm surprised the Eagles have a really good chance to be 2-0, but I do like the Eagles to win this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a game that I don't want to bet, and I'm going to anyway. I like the Bears, though. I just like the home team in this game. I don't think Philly's that good. I don't have a real good reason for it. I just think the home team is the way to play here. Maybe I'll have a little bit more. Definitely follow me out on Facebook. Follow our account, because I'm hoping to do some analysis on this game when it gets closer. And hopefully put up a preview on Monday for this game, and hopefully have a little better pick and guidance for you guys. Right now, I don't know. I'm kind of on a toss-up on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those that's hard because, obviously in Chicago, first home game, Monday Night Football. I think the Bears need to see what they're going to get out of Kevin White. Is he the bust that he's been so far? I mean, he wasn't very good last week. Now the Bears lost to a really good Houston team and actually were really competitive in that game. So, I just overall don't think the Bears are any good at anything. I mean, I don't think their offense is that good. I don't think their defense is that good. I'm leaning towards the Eagles. The Eagles' first-year coach, Doug Peterson. I like the Eagles to win this game.
All right, so there's some analysis we've had. Let's now take a few minutes before we end this show, and let's go through every single game just real quick. These are called quick picks, quick hitters. And let's talk about, let's just give our thoughts. Who's going to win the game? No analysis. I'm going to give you a game. You give your pick. I'll give mine. And we'll go from there. So we got Jets at Bills +1.
Yeah, I think the Jets. I'll take the Jets, -1.
I'll take Buffalo +1. Let's move on. We got San Francisco at Carolina. Carolina's 13.5-point favorites.
I'll move that to 17.5 and still like Carolina.
I'll go Carolina -13.5 as well. Not sold on San Francisco's defense like they looked last week.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was Case Keenum. It was Case Keenum. Yeah, I like Carolina. Carolina's going to be mad. I like the Panthers.
All right, Baltimore at Cleveland. Cleveland's +7.
I'll go with the Ravens. Love to get that at 6.5, but I'll go the Ravens to win and cover this game.
Me as well. Ravens -7's my bet. Tennessee at Detroit. Detroit is 5.5-point favorites.
I'll take the Lions. I'll take the Lions at home. I mean, Detroit's better than I think we thought they were going to be. 65% of the country likes the Lions. I think I'll join that. I like the Lions.
Yeah, first thought, I'll take the Lions as well. Lions -5.5. KC at Houston. Houston's -2.5 in this game.
If I can get it at 2.5, I like it. I'll take the Texans -2.5.
I'm not sure why KC looked so bad last week. I was baffled by that. I'm going to take KC. I'm hoping to get it at 3. I'm going to take them plus the points in this one, and I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Okay.
Miami at New England. New England 6.5-point favorites.
I'll take the Patriots. I'm going to get it now before it goes to a touchdown or more. I think the Patriots -6.5 is the play here.
Yep, Patriots I like as well, and I like the under a fair bit in this game. I think both defenses are solid. Miami's offense may not score in this game, to be honest with you. I think it'll be much like last week at Seattle. I don't think they're going to score. So I like the under a fair bit in this game.
Yeah, there you go.
New Orleans at the Giants. Giants 4.5-point favorites.
Take the Giants. The Giants to win this game. Pretty high-scoring game to me. I like the Giants.
Giants as well. Giants is my pick. I'm going money line on that one. I'm not confident on the 5, but I'll take Giants money line. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's 3-point favorites. This is a pretty good game as well, but Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
This is a really good game. A rematch of last year's debacle in the playoffs where the Bengals basically just blew it. I'll take the Pittsburgh Steelers, and maybe that'll go to 2.5, and I'll love it, but I like the Steelers -3.
Give me the 3 points. I'll take the Bengals +3. Dallas at Washington. Washington -2.5-point favorites.
I thought Washington sucked Monday night. I'll take the Cowboys. And again, if that can go to 3, I'll take the Cowboys +3.
They did suck, but I'm riding them again. Washington -2.5. I'll take them at home, and I'll give them one more shot. We'll see what happens. I'm not sold on Prescott. I'm not sold on Dak for Dallas. So I guess I'll put my money on Kirk Cousins instead. Tampa Bay at Arizona. Arizona -6.5.
Yeah, I'll go Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay. Jameis Winston was really good last week. Now, I know this is an Arizona team. This is going to be an Arizona team that's going to be really mad. I'll take Tampa Bay. And again, if it goes that half point, I'll buy the half point and make it +7. I like Tampa Bay +6.5.
Well, we're going to be opposite again. I'm going Arizona minus the points. I like them to win this game for sure. And I don't see Tampa Bay repeating what they did last week against this defense. I like Arizona to win this handily. Seattle at L.A. Why is this line off? Is there a
because it's going to be so many that they can't put it.
Okay, well I see it at 3.5. Seattle -3.5 here at another book, but it's off at one spot, so there may be a reason.
Russell Wilson questionable in this game, and I don't even know what they would do quarterback wise, but I don't care. I'll take Seattle until LA at least sniffs the end zone. They didn't have a chance to kick a field goal. LA Rams didn't have a chance to kick a field goal. I'll take Seattle, whatever you said, +3.5.
Yeah,
or -3.5.
This could be just kind of like the Miami New England game where nobody scores. I mean, I could see this being another 6-3 game or something ridiculous after watching last week happen. I'm taking the under no matter what happens, but yeah, I guess I have to take Seattle until LA shows they can get a yard. All right. Indianapolis at Denver. Denver is -6.
What the heck? I'll take the Colts +6.
Yeah, I'll ride with Denver in this one. I wish that wasn't quite as high, but right now I'll take Denver -6. Atlanta at Oakland. Oakland's -4.5.
I'll take the Raiders. Looked pretty good last week. They won not in overtime, but won towards the end of the game. I'll take the Raiders. I don't know what we're going to see out of Atlanta. I'll take the Raiders -4.5.
I'm with you. I like Oakland to win this. Atlanta's a different team on the road than they are at home. I like Oakland to win, and I'll lay the 4.5 and hope they win big. That may be another one I take money line. Money line. I'm kind of liking those when it's 4 or 5 points, taking the money line and not getting screwed with that last second touchdown that makes it 4.
Yeah.
So then we got Jacksonville at San Diego. San Diego looked pretty good for the first 3.99 quarters or whatever. Three quarters, I'll say. They're -3 against Jacksonville.
No Keenan Allen. I'll take Jacksonville to win a road game. I'll take the Jacksonville Jaguars +3 in this game.
Yeah, I like getting the points here too. That's one of my favorite games of the weekend, actually. Them +3 is a good number. I hope it stays there.
Yeah, oh yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, I like Jacksonville. It looked okay against the Packers last week. I'll take Jacksonville.
All right, we got Green Bay at Minnesota. We've talked about this. Give me your pick. Minnesota's +2.
Green Bay wins.
Yep, Green Bay -2. I'm with you. And then we got Philadelphia at Chicago.
Eagles +3 right now, but I think you can get it at 2.5 or whatever. You need to get it at. I like the Eagles to win this Monday night game on the road.
All right, as I said earlier, I'm leaning Chicago Bears, but definitely check back on our social media later on. I'm going to have a pretty big preview and hopefully a good pick on this one later on. So that wraps it up, man. Are you out of breath?
A little bit. I mean, but this is nice because we make our quote unquote picks now, but we have an opportunity to really dive into it a little bit more once the weekend starts getting here. And I don't know if any of these are set in stone. There are a few that I really like, but yeah, like you said, check back our Facebook and Twitter page, and we'll have some of our for sure picks this weekend.
Yep, we'll make them official. We always make them official before game time, usually Sunday morning, sometimes Saturday night. So definitely check back. So we want to thank you guys all for listening. We appreciate it. This is the Knup Sports podcast, knupsports.com. We're here to help you make some money on sports, and we'll do the best we can to do that. So, hey, one thing before we go, definitely join up with our email newsletter. We send out one pick every day. We've actually won 5 of 6 games, so get out there, get the free pick. It could help you win some money. So we appreciate you listening. Rodney, as always, it was a pleasure talking to you, and until next time, we'll talk to you later, Rod.
Yep, sounds good. We'll talk next week.
All right, have a great night, everybody, and talk to you later. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Knup Sports Show. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider subscribing to our iTunes channel today. Plus, visit us at knupsports.com for more picks, previews, strategy, and news. That's knupsports.com.